Okay. Thanks, Justin. Okay, we're going to call the meeting to order. Councillor O'Hare should join us momentarily. Justin, please, the land acknowledgement.
The city of Thorold is situated on treaty land. This land is steeped in the rich history of the First Nations, such as the Haudenosaunee, the Haudenosaunee, and the Anishinaabe, including the Mississauga of the Credit First Nation. There are many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people from across Turtle Island that live and work in Niagara today. City of Thorold stands with all Indigenous people, past and present, in promoting the wise stewardship of the land on which we live.
Thank you so much. Are there any declarations of interest? Okay, seeing none, we'll move to adoption of the agenda. Can I have a motion to adopt the agenda? Brenda? Leslie? Are there any changes to the agenda? Any discussion? Okay, seeing now, I'll call the question. All in favor? Okay, opposed? Okay. Adoption of the minutes of September 18th. A motion? Mark? A seconder? Anybody? Brenda? Any changes to the minutes of September 18th? Okay, seeing now, I'll call the question. All in favor of adopting the minutes? Opposed? Okay, the minutes are adopted. There isn't any correspondence. Okay, technology forum. We had the technology forum on Tuesday. I want to thank Brenda for all the work that she did on this, because I think it turned out really good. We had fantastic speakers. I want to shout out a special thanks to Niagara College. We had 2 speakers from Niagara College, and we had several staff people from Niagara College attending. It was great support. And I also want to thank Brock University. So those partnerships are critical to not only our committee, but also to the other committees, NOAA, and to the H1D Niagara Council. And I think everybody learned something at that forum. So, and a big thanks to the city, the mayor for coming out and bringing props, which were cute, and bringing greetings, and also for the city supporting the event. Niagara College paid for the pizza, and the Senior Citizen Center, we allocated up to $300. We spent $150 for all the salads and all the foods, et cetera, and $50 for technical support. So that was very reasonable for a forum like that. And if you want to say, do you want to say anything, Brenda?
Yeah, everything was great.
It turned out really well. So I thank everybody. Okay, NOAA, I sent out yesterday. NOAA, as was mentioned previously, our meeting is November 5th, 2025. The sign up for the NOAA meeting, you can just go in and you can sign up and they'll send you a ticket. You don't have to really worry about the ticket, but you got to sign up, okay? So just so they know numbers for the snacks and stuff that they're providing. It's going to be a really good forum. Again, somebody from the hospital is speaking, someone speaking on dementia. We're having Cheryl from the Ontario Knowledge Exchange coming and speaking on what they do and how we should be connecting with them. So I think it's going to be, and then we'll do a round table. So it's going to be at the McBain Center, which is a lovely center. So hopefully you'll join. If you know anybody else that wants to come, they're welcome to come, as long as they sign up. So, okay, that went out yesterday. Seniors Angel update. I'm going to do, it's been so busy lately. And everybody on this panel is really busy. I'm hoping to get a poster done up next year. I've received donations from several of you. If anybody else is going to make a donation so that we can have it as one of the items that we'll give away for the tickets that they buy, please get it to me or to the center. I'll get to Brenda by tomorrow or Monday at the latest if anybody hasn't already and they still plan on contributing something. So I'll make up some kind of posters and hopefully we can get tickets ready next week. Again, the prize will be drawn on November 15th, which is the Christmas Bazaar. at about between noon and 12:30. Okay, so I won't go on any length on that because we've talked about the Senior Angel before. A Christmas luncheon, we usually have a Christmas luncheon, just an informal thing. I'm wondering, do we want to, of this committee, we have it at noon on a Saturday. We've had it at Cracker Jack's, and I'm wondering, do you want to have it again this year, or does everybody want to take a break? I'm okay either way. If we're going to have it, I'm suggesting Saturday the 6th or the 13th. What are the feelings? Is everybody too tired, or do you want to have, Saturday?
Did you say December 5th?
December, I apologize.
okay.
It's
Yeah, I wasn't
December,
sure.
December 6th or 13th are the 2 days I would suggest if we're going to do it.
I thought it was nice when we went. We went to overtime, I think, last year, and it was quite nice.
We went over, okay,
Yeah, it was
oh,
quite
yeah,
nice.
overtime, because the other one, okay, so we could go to
Yeah.
overtime.
It was quite nice. Yeah.
So any preference for the 6th or the 13th?
December 6th. Maybe the earlier, because closer to Christmas, everybody gets busy.
Yeah, I
Oh.
think the 6th is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do the 6th then. And we'll send out a notice, just saying that. Okay, World Health Organization, Mark, you're going to help, you said you'd help out with that. I know I haven't contacted you or anything, so we'll do that afterwards. Things are going to die down a little bit, and we'll figure that out. I've got a whole slide show on how to update on their website and all of that. Okay, and Center for Studies in Aging and Health. Okay, that website, Marianne and Barb are going to do it. I sent you stuff, but I got mail failures. I sent you but I got mail failures because Cheryl's address has changed. The Knowledge broker, her email address changed. And I finally have her correct email address. So next week you'll get more stuff and we'll get you hooked up, okay? So that's I tried. Okay, so these are, next year, again, it's gonna be kind of a light year because we more or less stopped doing anything in June. I'm hoping we still can do the swim and movie night in August. But other than that, everything pretty much ends in June because of the election. So these are the things that I'm proposing, and if there's any other things you want to propose, let me know by this meeting, or we don't have a meeting in December, so the January meeting, okay? So these are the probable things, activities that I'm proposing for next year. I want to do a health forum, and I'll probably do it in June. And the reason for June is because that's Seniors Month, and we can do a flag raising and whatever with that. The other reason for June is in April. The next NOAA meeting is going to be in April. We don't have a date, but it's going to be in April, and it's going to be in Grimsby. Grimsby has a new community center. I don't know what it's called, but it's a new community center. So they wanted to host the next one. So it's going to be in April. So I think June is probably a good month. And we'll do our Senior of the Year like we always do. And we'll do that in June also. Then we'll have a NOAA meeting. We're not going to be responsible for it, but again, that'll be in April, like I mentioned. I'm hoping we're going to do the swim and movie night in August. And then we should be able to do the Senior Angel again in 2026, because that has nothing really to do with the city. So those are the things that I think we're going to do next year. If there are others that you want to consider, can you let me know by the January meeting? Because our next meeting will be in January. So any discussion on that? Marianne?
Is there a meeting in November?
Yes. Yeah, I forgot, we're only in October, right? So we do have one more meeting.
Okay.
And it'll be short, it'll be short like this one. Okay, so any more discussion on that? No? Okay, so Justin sent out a document, and you've got it in your package, council committees and board policies. And I have to tell you, what happened last year has made me a little bit shell-shocked when I see reports on council committees and board policy because of what happened last year. But I want to commend this clerk's department. It's much more transparent than the former clerk's department, so that's a big plus, because we would have never seen this report in advance if this was last year. So big kudos to the current clerk's department and to Nicholas and Justin. I just have just a couple of questions, and just because, as I said, I'm really shell-shocked from what happened last time. On page 11, it says a council committee, interchangeably known as and referred to as an advisory committee or board of management. Okay? It's on page, do you see it, Justin? Well, that's what it says. It's number 5. Okay, so and I was very pleased. So my understanding of advisory committee from the last report that we didn't see and got passed was that an advisory committee could not have any activities. They were only advising council. That was my understanding. Now, I was pleased on seeing on page 1111, committees of council. The committees listed there, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 committees. There's 7 committees, 6 of which have advisory in the name, and 2 of which don't. One of them being Age-Friendly Committee, and then the Town and Gown Committee. So, what does advisory committee mean? And what does the lack of advisory committee in the age-friendly, in the listing on page 11 mean? Does that mean we will be able to continue doing health forums, senior of the year, swim and movie night, other things? Or are you reverting us back to an advisory committee which can't do any activities? I'm a bit confused and would like some clarification on that.
So yeah, through the chair of the committee, all committees are advisory committees, whether they have the word advisory in their name or not.
Okay, and does that impede us from doing, will that impede us in the future from doing activities like what we are doing?
Don't anticipate any changes from this. Like I said, it's basically taking 2 policies that currently exist and putting them into one, and just providing some minor updates throughout.
Okay, so you don't anticipate us not being able to do these things in the future from this document? Everybody heard that?
We watched her shake his head.
Okay. And the only other thing is, as I said, because I'm shell-shocked, I'm asking this. Remuneration, where is it? Let me just... Okay. Generally, members of a committee or board serve on a voluntary and as such do not receive a remuneration. Now, remuneration would be pay, some kind of a pay for services. That's how I would interpret it. And I don't see a committee member getting a remuneration. However, as I said, because of my shell-shock nature, that can't be interpreted by the finance department as, for example, I bought drinking boxes, which were approved from this committee for the movie night, and then I submitted an invoice for payment. Finance can't use that line of remuneration to say, I can't get reimbursed for those drinking boxes that I paid for the swim night. Is that fair? Or if we have cake at the Christmas luncheon, because it gets passed by this committee, if we submit an invoice, we will be allowed to be reimbursed for costs, because that's not a remuneration. Is that correct? Like, I'm worried that the finance committee is going to use this clause to say you can't get reimbursed for expenses that this committee passes.
So through the chair, it's not meant for that. It's meant for those who are being paid for their service as a member on a committee, and there's only one that currently has that.
Okay. That's how I would have assumed it, but as I said, I just wanted some clarification. Okay, so other than that, don't see an issue. I see that you have two policies and that you are combining them into this one, and those were my big concerns. But what advisory meant and the remuneration one. So I'm hearing that there are no changes to our ability to do these events as of at least today, and that we can be paid for or reimbursed for expenses. That's what I'm hearing. Okay, and I have a few witnesses and a recording. Okay,
I will note that the main purpose of advisory committees is to advise council of different policies and programs and so forth, not necessarily to run events.
I am well aware of that, and that's why I'm concerned. Because advisory committees don't do anything.
They advise.
They advise, and council usually doesn't listen, okay? Okay, you may disagree with me, Mark.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I think the one thing that's important to maybe discuss when it comes to the role of advisory committees is I've taken, after seeing Madam Chair's communication with the Clerk's Department, I looked into what other cities and jurisdictions, what they see the role of advisory committees. And there's quite a couple of jurisdictions like Hamilton and Guelph, which actually in their advisory committee, the policy and the purpose of the advisory committee, the mandate, they say community engagement, to involve the community to get more individuals involved. And my understanding is that the City of Thorold, I don't think, has that in their mandate. So that's something that when Madam Chair brought up the advisory component, that's something that my mind immediately turned to, is that some cities do actually encourage community involvement through their committees.
Okay, so do you see that we need a change in the policy, or do you see that because it says advisory committees and other municipalities do have community engagement, we're safe? What is your recommendation?
Well, I'm not be able to give a recommendation.
Okay.
I think it would be appropriate for this committee to ask council for a clear objective and a clear mandate. And I don't think it'd be inappropriate to say maybe community engagement is something that can be put in the mandate. Seeing that, from my understanding of this committee, is this something this committee has done for a number of years prior to myself sitting on it. So I think it's something we could advocate for, but it's up to council. And I understand that council, we serve the pleasure of council. So it's up to council what they want to do, but I don't think there's anything wrong with advocating for that type of language in the mandate.
So can we ask that our committee be an advisory committee and advisory committee which is also involved in community engagement? Can we make that as a recommendation for council's consideration?
That's possible. I don't think it would be through this policy. It would be through the committee's terms of reference.
Okay, so the committee's terms of reference are elsewhere in another policy?
They're on our website. They're not part of this policy. This policy generally refers to how a committee is formed, how it is dissolved, the role of committee members, things of that nature, the general parameters of how committees operate, not specifics on what each committee does. That is in each committee's terms of reference, what their role is and what they are to do.
Okay, so maybe we should bring up the committee's terms of reference at the next meeting. We'll get a copy of it. And maybe there we should look and see if we can put the terminology community engagement in that policy and ask council to consider that. Is that a fair way forward to try to protect this committee?
We can review the terms of reference next meeting if you like.
Okay, I would appreciate that. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, the Age-Friendly Committee meeting schedule is attached in here. I hope you all saw it. The meetings only go until June next year. Are there any conflicts with those dates? The dates are January 15th, February 19th, March 19th, April 16th, May 7th. That's earlier because I have a conflict at the normal time of our meeting in May, and June 18th. And the May 7th will probably be better because then we can clear up any final issues with Senior of the Year. So those are in your package, and that's for information purposes. Okay, so I'm going to do roundtable discussion. I'm going to
We
go
can get
with,
we have to get a mover and a seconder and vote on the schedule.
oh, okay. Can I have a mover for the schedule, please? Barb, seconder Marianne. Any comments or any questions, comments? Okay, seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? Opposed? I don't see any. Oh, you have a question, Mark? Sorry.
So just a comment, Madam Chair. Because of my line of work, there will be an occasion where I'll be in court during sometimes. My hours, if I'm in trial, sometimes I get pulled into court. So I just wanted to let Madam Chair know and the rest of the committee members know that I'll do my best to attend every meeting, but sometimes I'll be in trial.
Okay, that's fair. And if you aren't in court, but you can attend virtually too. That's an option to you too.
Yes, Madam Chair, if I'm not in court. I don't
Yeah.
think the judge
No,
will.
I don't think the judge will, no. I don't think our committee's that important. Okay, noted. So we voted on that, right? Okay, that's good. Okay, roundtable, Brenda.
Oh, my.
Where to start?
We had our forum yesterday, Tuesday. We had a forum. It was fantastic. We had more people than, we had less people than anticipated, but it worked out just perfect for us. We had everything set up, everything ready to go. The food was great. I was lucky enough to be able to go pick the pieces up with the lady from Niagara College, and we had a nice chat while we were on our way about the senior center, what we do, and, you know, the importance of what we do, certainly. The other thing that's coming up for us is our bazaar and our trivia. Trivia is this Saturday night for anyone that still looks for tickets. We still have tickets available for the trivia. It starts at 6. To get in the doors at 6, and 7 we'll actually start the trivia. Senior Angels, that's a big one for us, getting as many donations as we can so that we can sell the tickets. Once we sell the tickets, we'll know how much money we have and how many Senior Angels we can present with our bags again this year. Our next big date is November 15th. We hope everybody attends to our bazaar. We'll prepare the day before, but it'll be a big day. That's a big money raiser for us. And I think the way we're going, we're going to need both the upstairs and the downstairs to utilize because we're getting a lot of stuff in right now. We have been inundated with items that we've needed for our crafting class, for our sewing classes. Thank you, Barb, for your help with all the material, but people have been just giving us stuff. We have no place to put it. That's the only problem. We're just stacking and stacking and stacking, which is a good problem to have. It really is, because you have the items available that you need. So yeah, everything is fantastic. This week, I think we sold, today is Thursday, and we've already had 9 new members this week. I did 3 tours this morning. before getting here. So we're just, it's crazy. It is absolutely crazy, the amount of people coming in. We have the city of Thorold, obviously, to thank, especially the two gentlemen sitting up here, Tim O'Hare and Dave Baldoni. We could not do what we do without their help. I mean, they're there all the time for us. We've had a wonderful council that's been there for us. The mayor's been overwhelmingly there for us as well. So things are really looking really, really good. We'll probably be coming to council in the next few years about a new building because we're outgrowing the building we have. They won't want to hear that yet, but things are going really well. Unless somebody wins the big $80 million so we can build our own. And we'll give some money to, of course, our library because they need some money as well to expand. So things are fantastic. We couldn't ask for more. Things are moving in a great direction for us. So thank you very much, Jean. And thank you to Jean for doing all the hard work for the forum. She put all that together. It was marvelous. Those baby seals and the baby birds were just absolutely amazing. So you learn a lot when you go to those forums. You really do. It's never too old. You're never too old to learn something new. So thank you, Jean.
Thank you. Okay, Leslie?
I don't have anything.
Okay.
Brenda
Bo-
just did it all.
Barb?
Yeah, I just want to say again, great job, ladies, on the forum. It was so informative, so many things. And also, thanks to Terry for, at our meeting, announcing that we are getting a parking lot. So that was great news. We can't wait. So hopefully it's not too delayed, like the last one.
Just on that, it was announced at the meeting that it was November 5th that it was coming to council. It's November 18th. We've received clarification that the parking lot matter is coming to council on November 18th. And we are hoping to have a number of us in the audience to encourage a positive outcome of the vote by council. Okay? So put November 18th on your calendar, and I think the meeting starts at 6:30, and we'll probably send out some kind of a reminder of that. And if as many people come out as possible, that will greatly help.
I would suggest sending it like on our, to all the
We'll
seniors.
send an email out.
That's
Yeah.
where the issue is.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
many of them have complained, so they
Yes.
probably be glad to come.
Yes.
In
Okay.
action.
It's a question of safety now.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
It's safety, plain and simple. It is, it's just we have to
And
be.
I mean, I can walk 2 blocks to get to the center, but some
Other people
people, if
can't.
they have to park down by the library and with their walker, they can't
They
get up the
can't,
hill.
no.
You know, so
Yeah.
in the winter,
And if there's a funeral at the church or there's another function at the church, it just compounds itself. Yeah.
Okay, so there is
Yes.
some movement on that. It's unfortunate it's a little bit late, but
Yeah.
late is better than never, okay?
Yeah.
But we still have to show up, okay?
I was
So,
glad to hear that from
yes,
Terry.
we're all glad. Marianne?
Again, I'd like to thank all of you for that forum that we had. I learned a lot, and I thought it was great. So if I learned something, I hope everybody else did. But I think we should do more of that. I really do, because it engages the whole community. And then, you know, maybe they'll take an interest in the in our group, you know. And I think it was very well done. Yes.
And yeah, these events are open to everyone, not just the
Yeah.
senior center. They're open to everyone.
yeah, and that's a good thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
We ended up with 2 new members from the forum.
Very
So
good.
it always works out for
Yes.
us in the long run. We have currently a grant right now, a small grant, but there are people in the community that don't have anything. They have no money to come and be a member. Well, they don't need any money.
Yeah.
Because we have a grant that we can sponsor them.
Good.
So come on in, sign up, we'll get you taken care of.
And that's good.
Absolutely.
That's good that we.
Absolutely.
absolutely.
So it's most important.
Okay, Mark?
Thank you. So there's a couple things I want to just discuss with the committee. I think one of the roles, as Madam Chair said, is we are an advisory committee as well. advise on the issues. And in my discussion with a lot of senior citizens in the community, one of the things is there's a lot of issues, municipal issues that we're hearing about in the community. But a lot of times, I don't think, and this is my personal opinion, and I'm interested to hear what the other committee members think. A lot of times, the senior perspective is not provided. And when I was in law school, we learned about this recommendation that was put forward by Indigenous persons talking about political issues in the community that affect uniquely Indigenous peoples more than others. And I think that if the committee thought it was appropriate, we could put together something of a paper expressing views of the senior population on critical issues in the community. For example, housing. I know that, for example, my grandmother right now is looking at housing. Her house is too big for her now. But the options in Thorold are very limited. And I think that's felt amongst a lot of seniors. So I think that's something that, an example of how in a prevailing issue in society is felt by seniors. And I think that perspective needs to be highlighted in a paper, like a recommendation to council to let them know that seniors, especially in Thorold, which is the large population of seniors, are voters, and they're aware of the issues, and they want their perspective heard. I yield to Madam Chair for an opinion on that suggestion.
Well, we did it, when we formed this committee, we did a survey, and I'll get you a copy of that survey of what the leading issues were at the time. Now, this was done in 2015-ish, 2016-ish. So you can work from there. And as I said, we were also asking for whatever other things we could do in 2026. And we could easily organize an information session asking for feedback, presenting the results of the 2015 survey and showing what those priorities were, and then doing another little, maybe short 1 or 2 page survey and seeing if those priorities have changed. And then from that, some kind of paper could be presented. But I think it's important that we compare the old survey to some kind of a new, even if it's a short one. What are the priorities today? Are they the same? Are they different? What would you like to see different? So that's something we can do. And if you want to take some kind of leadership in helping to organize some kind of an information session or a feedback session on what the priorities are, the 50+ center is always willing to host. Brenda's fantastic. So that might be a way to get more new feedback and to present some kind of paper to council. And if you want to take the lead on that, that's even better.
Just to let you know, Mark, that's come up numerous times at the center. What we have decided to do this year, it's never been political with the senior center. They've never ever allowed during an election for the people that are running to come in. That's changing this year. We are allowing them to come into our building and speak to every one of us because it's affecting us now. Housing is the first thing and food is the second. So we have 2 very big areas. If you're a senior, live in Thorold, I think to myself all the time, if I ever sell my house, where am I going to go? I have to go to another city. This is my town. This is my city. Why should I have to move? So there should be more done politically for the seniors, for buildings, for housing, and not just the seniors, but in particular the seniors. We do have a lot of issues. We have contacted housing. They are going to come and do a short seminar, and we'll be inviting people from the outside. Those are on our list for next year. There's going to be a ton of things, including a survey of what the seniors need. But as the information we've gotten so far is number 1, housing, and number 2 is food. They kind of, are tight together. So next year we will allow everybody that's running for council at a specific date. We will tell you when the date is, and we would like you to come and speak to everybody because they've got lots of questions and they want to know what's going to happen to them in the coming years through the city specifically. So that is definitely happening for the senior center.
Mention the partnership that's with Age Friendly for these activities.
Well, that's most definite. Everything we do at the senior center comes from this committee. So when I come to the committee and I speak to Jean, and we talk all the time about what's necessary, what needs to happen, what can we do in the future, it's an ongoing thing for us. So we recognize that it's important to get that information out there and to have more people coming in to give out that information. And we promised the board, we promised the city council that when they helped us last year. That's why we're here today. That's the only reason we're here today. Sure, there's a lot of hard work to it. We've put all these people here have put a ton of work into making the senior center wide open for anybody. We're close to over 300 people. So we understand what's necessary and what we need to do in the future, but we always work with Age Friendly. That's where we get a lot of information and we work together. We have a partnership with so many people in this town, and that's what's making us better and better all the time, because we work all together. We find out what they feel, how they think, what they need, and we work as a community to get that done for seniors, certainly.
If we're going to do, I'll get that survey to you. I will also get you, Age Friendly Niagara Council has a lot, because they did a big survey also, and they've got results from that. I'll get that information to you too. But if we're going to do something like a 1 or 2 page survey, to just update the records applicable to, and we've also got information from the survey that Age Friendly Niagara Council did that is applicable just to Thorold. We've also got those stats. But if we're going to do something else, we got to start working on that in November and December and have it ready for January, February, because the year will go by real fast with the limited year we have. So we should talk about it and get that information to you. And if we're going to do a survey, it almost has to be started immediately. Mark?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. And I wasn't aware of the 2015 survey, so thank you for advising of that. I think the reason the survey, I think, would be very helpful, as well as in terms of what we discussed earlier today, the policy and putting that community engagement in the policy, is because, and I'm just speculating right now, but I'm sure the change from 2015 to 2026 is going to be healthcare challenges, and it's going to be isolation technology issues. Yes. Mm-hmm. COVID-19 changed a lot for senior citizens, and I think why it's important, and there's a nexus between this survey and the policy, is because if we go to council and say, look, this gap in the isolation, the technology, if we have a community engagement mandate, we can fill that gap by putting together events so people, senior citizens, become aware of how to use technology. And not just how to use technology, but how to use it safely. I'm a criminal defense lawyer. We all know that. There's a lot of cases of seniors being scammed online.
Yeah.
They don't know. And I think that would be quite important as well to have an event for that, because we all heard about the grandson calling for help, and it's a scam, right? But AI, it's developing fast. So I think that's would be important.
A lot of those issues we tackled on a continuous basis at the Thorold Center 50+, because we have people come in and talk about scams periodically because they change. Whether it's the RCMP or the regional police, we've had that. We've had housing forums. So we've done some things, but there's no reason not to update that information or to see if it's changed. So that's another probable thing we can do for 2026. Barb?
I agree with Mark too, that like the surveys are great, but we have to make sure that information gets to council in some kind of a recommendation or like in some form.
And there also has to be somebody.
We just look at it.
Yeah, and
'Cause we know.
what we find is there people come up that can't read English, that we help fill that out. So, you know, it's not just those people, it's pretty well anybody that's, when you get older, it's kind of hard to see or kind of hard to read it all. And how is it going to affect me? So when we discuss it with them, this is how it might affect you this way, that way. And it's important. I totally agree with you, Mark. Absolutely. This is not just, oh, we're going to come here and knit and sew and play bingo. That's not what it is. We really are honing in on the issues that affect. Social isolation is probably, you know, right out there, a bit more important than housing.
We need to be recognized in the policy saying that we have community engagement.
Yes.
Because that is so important to have that in the policy. Because senior community center and this committee is filling the gaps. There's big gaps
Oh,
in
yes.
society, and without that community engagement, we're not being recognized or have the mechanism to do so. So I think that's
I
very
totally agree
important.
with
And I agree with everyone here and Madam Chair in her hesitation, skepticism in reading that policy. I think it's important.
And remember, this will probably all have to be done by June.
We can do it.
Okay, so just keep that in mind. So how big it is. Okay, so good suggestion, something we're going to look at. Should talk about it at the November meeting. Try to get that info to you. Trying to figure out if we're going to do another survey. Trying to figure out if we're going to do an engagement forum at the senior center in January or February to get some more information. Okay, so that'll be on the agenda. So that'll be another probable thing we'll have. And it might be appropriate to have the report ready for June, not only because that's when we kind of finish what we're doing, but because that's Seniors Month. Okay? Okay, so are we good? So we're going to do something on that, so we'll add that to our list. Okay. Justin, since you're the next one I can see, any questions, comments? And Justin, again, I want to thank you for everything you do for this committee. And I would like to thank the clerk's department in general for being much more transparent than it has been in the past. Not always in the past, just in the past 2 years. Okay, we have Councillor O'Hare that I can see.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm going to touch on the parking once again. It will be a good news story, hopefully soon. I've seen some preliminary drawings for what will be proposed and brought to council, and I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. So we'll just have to wait for it to come to council, but I think you'll get plenty of support for moving forward with that. And on the same note of parking, and while we have Dave Baldoni here as well, we haven't been able to meet up. There's been a couple of bumps in our meeting times. So Brenda, if we can meet again perhaps next week, because in the meantime, there's still some things we need to iron out, or Dave has some great suggestions as well with how we could make the parking lot even more effective, whether or not we get the new parking lot, which is looking good. But we should also face some of these challenges that have been pointed out and that we're faced with. So perhaps next week we can try again, and I'll work with Dave as well, and we'll get in contact and see if we can come together on a day to take a walk through the parking lot.
Okay, anything else, Councillor O'Hare?
No, that's everything. Thank
Okay,
you.
again, thank you for your support. I see Dave Baldoni. Dave, any comments? Again, thank you for all your support.
Thank you, through you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Councillor, for trying to arrange these site visits for us all to gather and hash out some of our inefficiencies that we're facing. Excuse me. Some more good news to bring forward to the committee today. We have some geotechnical investigation work being completed or commencing on October 20th, so Monday, October 20th. There'll be some equipment on the green space on site at the north side of the parking lot. So they'll be doing some boring, some test holes. So that will that won't impact so much any parking. We'll ask those contractors to park off site. They'll have some equipment on site, but on the green space. So we remind them to keep that parking lot clean, accessible for all users while they're on site. So where it's another good step in the right direction to having this parking lot come to fruition. So long overdue, but the steps are moving forward.
Late's better than never.
You got it. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else, Dave?
That's everything, Madam Chair.
Is anybody else on virtually that I don't see? Marilyn, do you
Yeah.
want to say anything?
Yeah, I'm here. The only thing I want to do is thank whoever moved all those cars from parking on Claremont. There's two left that won't get out of the way, and they're right near the corner. But the rest of the street is clear. The two near the corner are blocking cars that are trying to turn off Carlton, coming from the senior center, and one almost creamed me this morning when I was out. So just two left, guys. If you could get rid of them, it'd be great.
Okay. Thank you for that. And is that everyone, Justin? Thank you so much. Okay, if there's nothing else, I'll to have a motion for adjournment. Anybody will motion? Barb? Seconder? Marianne? Anybody want to discuss adjournment? All in favor?
Wednesday or Thursday or Friday to Dave and to Councillor O'Hare. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, whichever day is good for you. Thank you.
Okay, all in favor of adjournment? Opposed? Okay, thank you.